Really need to make this video, even though it's just been 5 minutes since I made my last video. It's about this theory that I came up with about 2 weeks ago. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of background of how I came up with it. I'm pretty sure other people have similar things they toy around with, but I really like my version that I came up with this 2 weeks ago. All right, so here it goes. Basically, my friend from Bangladesh, he's a Bangladeshi who's in New York. He wants to start a little business, okay, a food truck business, where he wants to sell a fusion of tacos but with Bangladeshi food in it, right? So pretty sexy idea. After looking into it, he wants to get me and one of my other friends on board so we can all split the investments and take turns running the show, because as you know, food in New York is a bitch. It's very difficult. Anyways, I looked into the plan he had, and I looked into just several pages of New York State's laws of what goes into it, and pretty quickly I was able to just denote that nah, man, I'm not digging it. Right when we were walking back from that little get together meeting, my girlfriend was asking me, like, usually when you get pitched a little idea, because this doesn't, for me, it doesn't happen every day, right? Usually I really jump onto it. At least, I get just excited. I get psyched up about this shit. Oh, new business idea? What the fuck? What are you doing? What's all this? And even if I'm not gonna be involved in it, I linger around for a while, try to really find out more information, and slowly it just dies out because I'm not like showing up or whatever. But she was like, how are you able to just let go of that? What if it's something really great? He has a lot of investments and stuff like that. He has a lot of capital, etc. And I realized that I couldn't really give a good explanation. And that's when I realized what is wisdom. So this is my little theory. For every amount of, damn, it's fucking hot in here. For every huge amounts of, not huge amount, for every, let's say, 6 months, okay, you go at it at a certain direction very hard. So to use for an example, for the last year, about I was reading a lot of books of business, mostly sales, marketing, and how to get yourself out there. A little bit of studying of like search engine optimization and Amazon, all these things, right? And for every amount you do for 6 months to a year, you get a little bit of wisdom. That kind of wisdom, what I believe and I can finally say, is gut wisdom, because this is like pretty much the first time I've been realizing it, right? You look at something, you see who'd be involved, and you kind of get up the feel of the market, and you can kind of get a feeling like, nah, let's not do that. All right. Now, not to say that it's not gonna work or whatever, but my feeling and confidently I could just pull out. That's what I'm talking about. Anyways, so as the theory goes, is like this. For every big action, hustle you're doing, you get a little bit of wisdom, right? And at our age, wisdom is kind of hard to portray, at least for me. Somebody who's very talkative and talk fast. You don't look like too wise when you're talking 100 miles an hour. Anyways, but that's besides the point anyway. How it works is like this. It's like a little game. For your character to grow, right? As we go through experiences, as we learn from things, we mold new things on and take old things out all the time. We do this all the time with little things. But for some people, well, for most people, I believe, the subtle things that is not resourceful to them linger on for much longer than they should, right? So I'll give you an example about my life. Let's say a year ago, 2 years ago, if my girlfriend was to come home and say certain things in a certain sequence, I would get furious, really upset, and would have a little argument. If that same thing happened nowadays, not only don't get upset, I can almost step back and be like, what are you what's really going on here? It's much calmer, right? So what happened there? We can call it growth. We can call it we work things out. Maybe my meditation helping. Whatever happens, it is an upgrade to my character, right? It is almost like a permanent. It's not permanent, but it's like a growing component of me, right? Of my invisible psyche. Things like this happen. It doesn't phase my psychology, physiology as much as anymore, because I have gone through something like that and maybe found a better other alternative part to replace the part that used to always get pissed off. In that line, you can go through and find all kinds of things, usually the little subtle things that make the big differences, right? It doesn't have to be just anger, it could be like anything. Why this is so important nowadays is because the world is getting more to do with, it's more to do with who you are nowadays than before, compared to like other factors, right? So for example, how do I end this video in a badass way? All right, so think of it like this. Imagine the most highly respectable person that you have in your mind right now. Maybe a celebrity, somebody who's making millions in money, or if it's not money, somebody who's just like having like a type of life you would want to live, right? They're free in all the ways you are not. And imagine them knowing how they are. You probably studied them, because if you really like them, you know how they are, right? You know them, what they would do in a certain situation, even if you haven't seen that situation, them be in that situation. Does that make sense? All right. Imagine that they were to pop up in your body tomorrow. Just bam, they just popped in your body. Now they look like you, but they have their character, their psyche, right? All the resources that you have in your life, now that's what they have, right? If they used to be billionaire and you're not, then they're not right now. All right. What is it, when it really comes down to it, what is it that the things they are, like, what determines the things they're going to do that's going to get them there? It is their character. It's just who they are. Because they're going to take action in the times where you're going to back down. They're going to reach out and give some value somewhere where you would have sat down, and the person who hustles the hardest gets the free ball. It's not about hustling, it's about character. So I'll keep it in there. The other thing is, other factors matter, right? Well, you can say, oh my god, okay, the guy that I really admire, he was born in America and I'm in like this country, or whatever factors you have in mind. Other things do matter, but what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter as close to, as much as character matters nowadays, right? Before in time, we didn't have all the information in the entire world at our fucking fingertips, right? That's one of them. Before, if somebody was born in a certain place, under a certain roof, they had to be the other person who was, they had to be just like their father when they grew up. If he was a farmer, he'll be farmer, things like that. But nowadays, it's those factors that put you in a certain category are getting less and less diminished, right? And it's like we're all becoming interconnected and webbed into just new like cyborg type of person, right? Sort of like cyborg, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's a good word actually, cyborg. Half human, half technology, because hey, half of the shit we do and things we have is online, so we're kind of, if that was just like attached onto us, we would be the cyborg. Anyways, another cool idea. But that's what I was just calling, trying to share. It's what I think is the greatest art piece ever. It's your character and who you are and what you attach to it and the person you become on the overall being, right? It's very subtle. You go to a place and new events happen and you just handle things differently. The things you get yourself involved in and the things you step out from is different. And it happens from the little amounts of wisdom that we tack on to our character. And it's just the greatest thing ever. Hope you guys understood what I said. Peace.